Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. This is Real People, Real Stories, Real Impact. We are the Identity Out of the Uniform project, part of the Auris identity system. This space is for honest conversations with those who have lived in the military experience or are navigating life beyond the uniform. We talk about the transition, the identity shifts, the challenges, the wins, and everything in between. So no performance, no pretending, just real people, real stories, and real talk. Every story shared here helps someone else feel less alone. Whether you're still serving, you've transitioned, or you support someone who is, this is for you. Let's break the silence. Let's build understanding. Your story matters. Your voice can help someone else find their way. I'd like to introduce you to Sue. Hello, Sue.
Hi, Gemma.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So thank you so much for agreeing to be part of the project, and more importantly, the very first interview. So you're going to kickstart the whole project.
Oh, great.
I just think it was important that we opened it up with a wife. It had to be done because I find that we don't talk enough about the family as a unit and how that impacts us moving forward. So today I'd really like to pick away at you in the nicest way possible, if that's okay, Sue.
Yeah, that's just fine. I'm okay.
Good. So can you take me back to the early days, what it was like for you and your connection to the military, please?
Well, we served in Germany. We were stationed with 7-6 in Hereford. And my life as an army wife, I was only 16 when I got married to Gary.
Wow.
So a very young army wife. Straight away, I fell pregnant, lost the baby at 38 weeks. There was no help from the army in that way. After I lost the baby, Gary got put down on guards, not being home at night time. I had to fight for him to come and be home at night time. So I put myself in prison. I walked in the guard room and put myself in prison.
Wow.
It was, well, how can I say it? They weren't very happy I did that, but I went to the families officer and said, I'm suffering. I needed help. And with Gary not being at home, being on guard at night time, I felt lonely, upset with the whole way that thing went with having that baby born dead. But apart from that, I loved the army life. I loved being an army wife, even though I'm a German lady. I loved being the army wife. When you was away on exercise or whatever, we were always a big family. You know, in the houses, on the NAFI bus, being picked up by the NAFI bus, going to the NAFI, going shopping, going to the Met Centre. It was good. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed the army life.
Whereabouts in Germany are you from?
Perfect.
Oh, wow. So what was it day to day for you with your partner at the time when he was leaving the British Army? So as he was transitioning how was that for you both?
For him, he made it sound easy when he said he was leaving the army on a medical discharge. They offered him to stay, but he would have to do an office job. And Gary just didn't want to do that. He wanted to leave the army and be a truck driver like he was with the signals, And I didn't really get asked. I got told we were leaving the army and we were going back to Stoke-on-Trent. And he went back and did a course for leaving the army. And there was me with 3 kids being stuck at home and not knowing what was going to happen to us, like money-wise, job-wise, what's the housing going to be like? We went into a council house after we left the army. He got his pension, or he got a bit of money, like when he left the army, with being medical discharged. But everything what happened after that was just, I'd say, terrible.
So he didn't, and you didn't have any support as you were leaving then?
No,
It was very
no.
much just you two and the
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
How did he handle that though? I know that obviously the way you're telling me that he had this kind of strength about him that he would be fine as soon as he left the army and he was going to go on the trucks. Was that the case though? Was he okay
Yeah.
and was he happy on the trucks?
Yeah. Well, he seemed like it. Gemma, he went to the Falkland Islands twice. He never told me anything about the Falklands, what had happened. The war was over, but things must have been still not right for them going over. I mean, they still go over now, but
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about that time when he was over on the Falkland Islands, apart from the bluey letters we got. Mind you, when you got a bluey letter and you were depressed and you had 2 kids there, and I still had a baby with me, we started arguing on the
Yeah.
letters. Just I was pointing my view, and he couldn't understand why I was pointing that. He said I should have been happy. I was in Catterick. We had a little house. I had me mates around me. Yeah, all right. Yes, you did. But you were still alone. And money-wise, it wasn't that easy in the UK.
Yeah.
The army, well, they did help me because I decided to leave for 6 weeks after he went the Falklands, and I was pregnant with our Jay. And I said, right, with me, I've never done a fire in all my life. Over here we had central heating in Germany. I never had a fireplace in Germany.
Oh, pleasure.
So we got to Catterick and there was a fireplace and that did the heating and the water. And I thought, oh, bloody hell, how am I going to do that? And within a few weeks, he was gone. So I said, right, I'm going back. I'm going to stay with my dad for a couple of weeks. I didn't stay long. Back. I stopped in Germany a couple of weeks and my dad was going on my nerves with being pregnant. And you're not allowed to go out. You've got a daughter here and you're pregnant, Sue. And I thought, well, I'll go back to England. Somehow I'll manage all this and that and the other. And I did. Of course I did. You had to.
Yeah.
With, getting things sorted, getting Nicole on the way. And Gary's family was stuck in Stoke, so we were always a couple of hours parted. And our car was always rotten, so I thought I'm not going on the motorway down to his parents to see them. I'll just stop in Catterick. And I had a good lady in the family's office. She helped me quite a bit to get along, get all the money sorted, Being in the UK and having fun, Deutsche Marks going into pounds, I thought, oh, bloody hell, I'm never going to manage. I am never, ever going to manage. But I did in the end. And, well, life went on after that. But leaving the army just knocked me for 10, definitely. Knocked me out of my life, you know what I mean?
Especially seeing as you were 16 when you were connected to the military environment.
Yeah.
So how many years was it you were a military wife?
11.
So 11 years. So what's that? I'm not great at maths. That'd make you what, 27?
Yeah.
So most of your growing up years was spent in a very protected, structured environment.
That's it. Yeah.
So did that help you or not help you, let's say, to become the person you are today?
No, not after I left the army. After we left the army, I started to feel very, very strange within myself. All my mates were gone that we had around us. All the support was gone that we had. And there was Gary sitting on the lorry being away either a week or 2 weeks. And I was stuck at home with the 3 girls, and not having a really good family around me. So most of the things I had to sort out myself. And that just did what I wanted. I wanted a bit of support with the army saying, right, come on, you're leaving the army. We're gonna help you a bit by resettlement, even though you're only a wife, but you need to resettle yourself a bit with being in the army for 11 years and just being an army wife, and then you just sort of get kicked out. You haven't got a flat anymore. You're going into this little tiny council house, which we had a big flat in Germany, so it was a difference. And that took me a while to get used to.
Do you know
Quite
what's
a
quite
while.
interesting? I've had a lot of conversations these past few weeks, and I actually used to do a lot of work back in 2015 with the wives on the camp that I was on, because obviously when I left the military, I then became wife of, and
Yeah,
it's just a total different dynamic. And
yeah,
it took me a while to be accepted into that kind of family community of wives,
yeah,
because I wasn't one originally. I drove off camp as a senior NCO and came back as a wife. So the dynamic you're talking about, I do understand it, but it wasn't very much part of my identity, because my husband then subsequently, a few years later, we both left and moved on. But I remember saying quite clearly that when you've got the two that are transitioning at the same time, you're going to come to loggerheads, because you're both trying to find your own path.
yeah.
Not one of yours is settled. You're both being destabilized at the same time.
That's
And
it.
and is that kind of that feeling that you had?
Yeah, definitely. And
How
that was,
long?
yeah, go on.
Sorry to interrupt. So did you stay together long after that, when you both left?
Yes, we left the army in 1987, February 1987.
Yeah.
Went on to live in Stoke-on-Trent, and we separated in 1995.
Oh, okay. So it was a long old innings then. Did he ever open up and talk about his time in the military, or was he just very closed off, just trucking?
Yeah, was very closed off. Like I said, I don't know what happened in the Falkland Islands. I just don't know what he did. When they were on exercise, well, none of the wives knew what they were doing, but no, he never opened up really. No, no.
So you were very much isolated from day one
Yeah,
then, weren't you,
yeah,
in as being a wife?
yeah.
What experience or moments stand out that helped shape who you became today, though, if you can actually assign any of that to the military?
Well, what stands out, like, I thought, well, I was wife off, and I was a German girl. So a lot of times I did things which you shouldn't have done, or which they didn't like what I did. I put myself in prison, walking in the guard room and seeing the squaddies looking at me thinking, bloody hell, what's she doing? Well,
Yeah.
I did that. And I thought to myself, there's a few things which I wanted to do, like in Catterick. I always thought, well, I need help. I need help with settling in the UK. So I went to the families officer, and this lady in the families office, she was always there for me. She always helped me. I was glad for that. When our Jay was born, she picked me up from hospital with a baby, which she needn't to have done, but she did it. So it was tremendous of her for doing that, and I felt good while we
Mm.
were stationed in Catterick. It was really good. But after that, things went downhill, coming back to Germany, being in Zost, falling pregnant again, which I didn't really want to. And I debated that with a midwife and the SAFA that I didn't want my third baby. Not really. I had two girls. I didn't want any more, but they said they won't do anything like abortion or anything like that. So I carried the third baby. And they told me it was going to be a boy, and she came out like a girl.
So there you are, on your own again with three kids.
Yeah.
Well, you've definitely got a lot of resilience, haven't you? I'll give you that. So, can you tell me about some of the key experiences or challenges or even turning points that shaped your journey as you were leaving?
Turning point was I went into this little council house in Stoke-on-Trent. I felt very, very unwell in there because we took our German furniture, and as you can imagine, the German furniture was a lot bigger than the English furniture, and our living room was way too small to put this bloody wall unit in there. So we decided we're going to cut it in half to get it into the house. Three-piece suite, no, you couldn't get it in there. It was too big. Driving on the left hand side was a bit difficult at first, but then I got used to that. With being on my own and having the car, I had to take the kids to school, go to the doctors and whatever. So I got all used to that. I even started working in Stoke-on-Trent because I didn't just want to sit at home and wait for him to come home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I understand that.
Yeah, I wanted to be a bit independent and show him I can do other things than just be his wife and wait for him at home.
So was it the work that helped you then, because it kept you motivated?
Yeah, definitely.
So did you have any like kind of strategies, habits, or a certain mindset that you adapted just to help you through those challenging times in the earlier years?
Well, as I turned 50 in Gemma, I had this craving, I am never ever gonna get married to a German guy, right? So if I got a naffy bag, I carried this naffy bag with me with this big N on it. So all the squaddies could see, oh, she might be English and this and that and the other. And I started going to the disco where all the squaddies hung around. And then like I met a few guys and one of them said, well, I was 15. Oh, I'm going to go up and meet your mum and I'm going to ask her if I can marry you. No, you're definitely not. I'm only 15. I won't be able to get married. And when I met Gary in this disco, he had to fight for me because I thought, oh no, he's not my kind of guy. He looked a lot older than me. He had a bald head. And I thought, oh no, no way, no way, no way. And my sister said, Sue, just look at him. And, you know, he's taking you home every night and he keeps asking about you. And I'm saying, no, Monica, no, I don't want him because he looks too old for me. And then he started fighting for me. And there was me telling my dad that I am never, ever, ever going to get married to a German guy. And my dad's going, you are stupid. You are not going to get married to an English guy. And I fought for that. I fought for going the German law, saying I was going to be 18 because you had to do that in Germany. You had to be 18 to get married and you had to go to court and get all that. And this woman from the youth authority over here, she just turned up into the OC's office while he was pulling up his trousers. So Gary got done for doing guards at night time because this lady just walked in on him, you know, in his underpants. She just ignored everything, just walked into camp, walked up to his office and walked in. She wanted to know what Gary was like and was he able to look after me and all this and that and the other. And yeah, we did all that. And in the end, we got married in England. I only needed my father's permission and my mum's permission so I could get married. And that's what we did in the end, because everything took too long over here to be done.
Bless. Yeah. That must have been scary though, going over to the UK to get married at such a young age.
Yeah, it was.
How long were you courting?
I tell you something, his dad thought I had something to do with Hitler at the time. He just didn't acknowledge me at all. After, it took me, 2 years? Yeah. With my second baby, he said, right, you're my daughter-in-law now. And I thought, yeah, it's taken a long time for you to acknowledge me, that I had nothing at all to do with that thing that man did. Yeah.
Did Gary's family all come from a military background, or was it just Gary?
No, just Gary.
What made him join then?
He lost his first wife and he joined the army then and got straight posted to Hereford, like, you know, after his time.
Was there much of an age gap between the two of you?
No, he was 19 and I was 16, so 3 years.
And he'd already lost a first wife?
Yeah. He got married. He must have got married very young. Yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah.
And you still talk now then?
Yeah, it was, mind you, when we got divorced, it was a bit difficult, you know, getting on with each other. And he took the girls from me and this and that and the other, and it took us a long time to be decent to each other, like, you know. But now he comes over and we go chat and sit down and have a cup of tea, and he comes to visit me with my husband now, and yeah, mind you, Gemma, I miss England. I really, really miss England.
Oh,
And
bless you.
I'm always begging to go back. I've got 5 months to wait before I'm in the UK again.
Or you'll have to look me up when you're here. We'll go for a proper cuppa.
Oh, yes, great.
Definitely. So, how did you cope during those times, and what helped you keeping you moving forward with everything that you were trying to do with such a young family?
Yeah. The other wives, we were like a big patch, a big family.
Yeah.
Most of the guys were in the same regiment as Gary was in Zost. And when he went away, and even in Verdon where we are stationed, we were like a big girls' family, like, you know. When the guys went out, we would sit and have a natter at night time, have a glass of wine at night time when the kids were in bed, like, you know, and that kept us going because we knew we were all in the same boat. And if any of us were silly, they got kicked up their ass, like they used to say. Behave yourself, be good, and don't do anything silly. Just we're here if you need us, like, you know, if you need a chat or if you're lonely or upset for anything, we're here.
So it's
So
definitely
that's,
that kind of network, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Did you
definitely.
stay in touch with anybody when you all left?
Yes, I did stay in touch with our Jodie's godmother because they left the army just like after us, and they were up in Manchester. But then as me and Gary separated, everything else like got taken away. We didn't stay in touch after that.
Oh,
I've
bless
tried a
you.
few times to keep in touch and get hold of a few people, but no, nothing happened really.
Do you think your past has helped influence who you are today?
Yeah, definitely.
In what way?
I got stronger being in the army, got stronger in myself being an army wife, knowing what I wanted being an army wife. And that helped me quite a lot to be who I am today.
Extremely
Definitely.
resilient and adaptable.
Yeah. But I
Did
always
it?
thought you need to, right, as you go along, and as the girls were born, you just need to go along as a person yourself. Even though you were in the army,
Yeah.
you need to go along as a person yourself.
So, what values, beliefs, or even lessons do you carry with you now from those times when you was in the army as a wife?
Don't let everything get to you. Don't let the guy's bosses get to you. You need to stand up for yourself, and you need to have your say as a wife off. That's what I took along. And being having losing my baby at such a young age, I needed to find out what had happened to my baby, because none of them told me when the baby was born what had happened to him, why he died, and why I nearly died while he was still in me, because his blood started to poison my blood. He was dead in me for 6 weeks. So I wanted to know, why did he die? And when our Jay was born, my sister had died in Germany after giving birth to a baby. So I said, I want to know before I give birth, what had happened to this baby? Why did he die? Will it happen to me now my sister has died? And yeah, we found out eventually what had happened to him, because they told me in Rinton, where he was born, he was spina bifida. No, he wasn't. My placenta starved him to death.
Oh,
Yeah. And
bless
that
you.
was me running every day, near enough, running to the medical centre saying, there's something wrong with my baby. I can't feel it moving anymore. And they kept saying, no, you're all right, Mrs. Benton, you're all right. That's just normal. No, it wasn't. It wasn't normal.
I wouldn't even like to imagine how you managed to rebuild yourself from all of that.
It took me quite a while. It took me quite a while to get all over that. But being 16, Gemma, I didn't really know how to get hold of these doctors and how to go on about it and find out what had happened to my baby. You know what I mean? Nobody could really say, go and do this and go and do that. I did all that afterwards. As I went along, I wanted to know more and what had happened to this baby.
Bless you.
Yeah.
I suppose in a way it was nice to have that kind of wife support with you.
Yeah.
Were they very accepting of you with being of a different nationality, being German?
No. They
So how did you cut through it?
Mind you, the language, as I went along, I learned more and more and more with my language. It took quite a bit because school English in Germany, you can't use it in England. You can forget it. If you go around with school English in England without the way we learn English over here, forget it. You can't use it. You don't get around. You just need to go along, listening to BFBS, talking to the squaddies, talking to the wife. And as you go along, mind you, get the bad language too, you know, really, when you really get annoyed at home and you have a row with your husband, you know what can happen? All the naughty words come out.
So what support systems or people made the biggest difference for when you was leaving the armed forces?
No one really supported me with leaving the army. I had to pack the MFO boxes. We got all that done. But no one really said, oh, come on, Sue, let's have a natter. Like, maybe the families officer would have come around and said, right, this is going to happen to you now when you leave the army. Gary was on his resettlement course in the UK. That was okay for him, but for me, no. Pack the boxes, and in that time, you're leaving Germany. And that's it. So no one really told me anything about what's going to happen, how life is going to go on for us as a family in the UK. And I thought that was really silly. They should have worked on that on the wives a bit, you know, like wife off. Yeah, that's okay. But how do we go along as a family from being a wife off than being Mrs. Benton? You know what I mean?
No, I do, because reality is that you were part of the military system from a very young age. So your identity was that as a wife of.
That's it.
You didn't have that kind of your own identity, did you?
No,
until that kind of transitioning window.
No.
So what does life look for you now compared to back then?
Life is good now.
Good.
It took me a while to get there to this life is good, but now it is.
So if there is one thing you could tell the listeners, especially the wives out there, give them a bit of advice and guidance, what would that be?
Ladies, don't let them get you down, and do whatever you think is right. And if you need help, go and get it. Don't let anybody stop you. That's my advice.
And if there was something that you could have had back then, what would it have been?
It's always been, I wanted help, right? Even if it was with Gary or the marriage, you needed somebody to talk to sometimes.
Yeah.
But there was nobody to talk to, apart from your friends. But sometimes they're not the person you need to talk to. You know what I mean?
No, I appreciate that. No,
Yeah.
I understand that. So looking back then, the advice and guidance you're going to give to our listeners basically is be strong.
Yeah.
Stand up for yourself.
That's it.
And what was that last bit? There was a third bit.
You need to be strong. You need to get along and get the help you need. If you need help, go and get it. Don't let anybody get you down, and don't let all the people like go and do any waffling around you, you know, telling stories, telling fips. If you want to go out by yourself for a drink, you go and do it. It doesn't mean you're going to have another man or anything like that. You're just going out for a bit of fun. And why not? It doesn't stop you.
Sue, I'm going to have to say thank you so much, because now we're obviously coming to the end of our conversation. And I want to
You're
thank
right.
you for your openness, your honesty, and even your courage, because your story is going to help somebody. It is going to inspire, and it's going to create change. It's going to get to the right listener. So thank you so much just for
You're
being here,
welcome.
because
Thank
your
you.
time, thank you. Your time, your attention, your support mean everything. Every story shared on this show helps break the silence,
Yeah.
build understanding, and create a stronger, more connected community. And we're all part of this mission. We're going to reach out and we're going to help more people. And we're doing that by sharing our stories, like Sue
Yeah.
today, who's opening our whole project, the first of 108 interviews. So
Oh, God.
seriously, I know. Seriously, I cannot thank you enough. So if you want to be part of the project, feel free to get in touch. But I ask everybody, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and share our videos, and more importantly, comment below where you're watching in the world. So from me and Sue, thank you so much, and hopefully see you all soon.
Yes, thank you very much, Gemma.